love that
Oh
sharp
man,
five.
yeah. Oh, and the sharp five too. Right. Wow. Oh, hey everybody. Okay, that was fun.
That was. You're amazing.
I
That
have
is
literally
incredible.
never in my life tried to switch camera angles while I'm playing. Like, why would I ever be in that position? I
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness. That
Wow.
was amazing.
Welcome and welcome to. Oh, we're on number 2. Sorry. Hi. Here I am. Sorry. Yeah. Welcome everybody and welcome to Dave. This is David De Jesus, and he was my professor in school at college. In school at Purchase College. That's what I meant to say. And he's now the director of jazz studies at Purchase. He's a phenomenal player, and I'm just pumped that he's here and he's
Glad to be here.
sitting in and playing. So
Keep upping your game every time I come back.
yeah, we keep getting more equipment. It took us. Sorry for those of you who were here like a half hour ago, and we were trying to figure out how to run this stuff. So I'm going to take a quick peek at the comments here because. Yeah, I have not been haven't been able to pay attention here, but cool. Hey everybody, how's it going? Yo, Purchase, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Killer, awesome. So,
How do I make someone disappear?
oh my God, yeah, there's plenty of stuff in there that just gets
Physically or
crazy. So,
emotionally?
right. So, the idea here, oh boy, the chat is gonna start going. Hello from Greece. Hello to Greece.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we're gonna start getting. Sorry, we're gonna try to keep track of this as much as we can, as fast as possible. But here's our idea for this stream today. So first of all, Dave is here. If you don't know, he's actually here to film another course for the Academy. I think there should be a link in the description. His most recent course, Harmony 101, is available for pre-sale. It's 50% off while we're still in the pre-sale. It releases July 1st. So there's only a couple days, I think 2 or 3 days left for that. So if you're interested in getting some real harmony education from Dave, and he's just an absolute master at that stuff, there's a link down in the description below, and that's what he was here last time to do. And this time we have another thing coming out very soon that should be a lot of fun. We filmed it yesterday over the course of like 9 hours. And it was a lot of playing.
Workout.
Yeah. It's like basically Dave put himself through his own course in order to demonstrate it for you guys when it comes out. And it was just like, it was just take after take trying to get it right. And it's tough. So I'm very excited to put that one together. So that's why Dave is out here. Here in Denver.
The improv obstacle course.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun for you guys, so I'm very excited about that. So, but until that point, the Harmony course is available for pre-sale. It's still 50% off. Link in the description. If not, I think the link should be there, but it's cornellmusicacademy.com/harmony. So, what I want to do with you guys is Dave is the director of jazz studies at Purchase College, and this is kind of your chance to get some questions about if you're thinking about music school, if you're thinking about, what is music school like, what is a jazz program like, he's the guy. He's the guy you want to talk to. He's the guy that's literally designing what's going to become the program. I mean, it's already a fantastic program. It's where I went. It's where, if you've been watching the podcast, the brand new podcast at all, it's where Dave went himself. Yeah. He was a student. Now he's running that program. So it's a really great program, and Dave's just going to take it to new heights. So I'm really excited about that. So if you have questions about music school, about Purchase specifically, I suppose, or just in general what a jazz program is like, that's where this is where you're going to want to ask those questions. And then other than that, we can talk about all things music. We can answer some questions about harmony, melody, whatever you guys want. So let's dive into this a little bit. We do have some things going on in the chat. I'm trying to keep track here.
I saw a music one about a music minor. What's a music minor like?
What's a music minor like? That's an interesting one.
So a music minor is typically when you're majoring in something else. It could be communications, could be English literature, and you're minoring. So you're also building up credits in another minor, in this case in music. So every program is different. At Purchase, if you are a music minor, you can take electives that the music majors can take, but you can't take some of the main classes that are on their that are meant for be jazz majors or studio comp majors or something like that. Some of those courses are limited to majors. So, but there are plenty of electives that you can do as a music minor. So that's kind of the pro and con of the music minor. It's actually pretty simple. I think it's maybe 6 additional courses to what your major is doing, helps you get a minor. And it shows up on your degree that you got a major in this and a minor in that. Works for any major with any minor. But the big thing to know is that you might be limited to certain classes. Most of the ensembles are open to anybody because ensembles are always looking to fill people, so that's a good thing. But if you want to take a specific, like Pro Tools class or a specific jazz harmony class, those might be limited to jazz majors.
So this is an interesting thing, and I just saw a question that's sort of related to this. It's like when you're in a music, like a jazz studies major, for example, how much music do you actually make? Like how much of it is playing versus how much of it is maybe studying, like, I don't know, studying theory or studying jazz history or something like that? And the answer is a lot.
Yeah.
I was weirdly lucky for just the position I found myself in because I had completed so many college credits before actually going to college that it fulfilled the majority of my of my GE requirements and stuff like that. So I was able
to take music classes.
Yeah. So I basically only took music classes. So my experience at Purchase was pretty much just in class with my friends playing music like the majority of the day. And so the answer to the question, do you play a lot? Do you make a lot of music when you're in music school? Well, yeah, of course. It's not all just studying, concepts and studying theory and stuff like that. It's a lot of applied, especially in a jazz program. There's a lot of applied stuff. You're going to go through like repertoire. You're going to learn, and rep classes always wound up just being like, okay, your assignment was to learn these tunes, so the whole class is going to be playing this tune, and you got to hang. So like you better have done the homework and know the tune, and that's like a big part of what that is. So in terms of how much music do you make when you're in school, it's a lot. I mean, and how was it like? I mean, I'm sure the program has changed a massive amount since you were there, but it probably still consisted of a boatload of playing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say so. We have at Purchase a repertoire track, so there's 8 semesters of jazz repertoire, and each semester focuses on a different genre. So there's a semester of songbook standards, a semester of bebop, semester of Latin jazz. So those, you're learning tunes and playing, like Charles said. Then you have an improvisation class, and you're learning concepts on improvisation. You play in that class. Everything is through demonstration and trial and error. Then you have, your combo. Everybody's in a combo. And you can be in multiple combos, but you have to be in at least one. And your combo meets once a week with your instructor, and then once a week as a group on your own, getting ready for the next meeting with the instructor. Then, then there are large ensembles that you can audition for. So at Purchase, there's a jazz orchestra, Purchase Jazz Orchestra, and then the Purchase Latin Jazz Orchestra, which is a full jazz orchestra plus percussion. So you can make one or both of those ensembles. And on top of that, there are jam sessions that happen on campus. There are, something I'll say, Charles, is something that's happening more now is kind of this applied practice. So even in a arranging class, when you're writing for 5 saxophones, they'll bring in a saxophone section for you to hear that. So you may not be a saxophone player, so you'll just listen to your homework, but if you're a saxophone player, that's another opportunity for you to play. And they do the same thing for the brass section and for the rhythm section. So there's lots of opportunities to play. It's really kind of up to you. Built into the program is already a good amount, and if you want more, the sky's the limit.
Definitely, yeah. And I actually saw an interesting question there. First of all, thank you so much, Weak Will. I feel bad saying that, but that's a great name. I appreciate it very, very much. Anyways, yeah, so I saw a question in there. It was funny because we were literally just talking about it. Somebody asked you your thoughts on synthetic reeds.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
So I happen to be playing one. This is called the Ven. I'm a D'Addario artist, and they came out with this product. They sent it to all the D'Addario artists. I play all the saxophones and clarinet, and they sent me a bunch to try. And I was gonna just try them out, just to, they have a survey they have us all fill out so they can improve on it. And so I was a diehard, just normal reed person though. So the first one I tried was on tenor saxophone, and right out of the gate I was blown away to the point where I had a gig that evening on tenor. So I was like, let me try this reed on tenor, and it was perfect. It was so wonderful to be so consistent. I know you players out there. A lot of times when you do a gig, you're worried about like, is my reed going to work today, or like which reed is should I get out of the bunch I have in my jar or whatever. So this is just it is what it is all the time. It's super consistent. So I liked it so much on tenor, I tried it out on alto, because I'm mainly an alto player. And I tried it out. I did a rehearsal to start. I did this long Latin jazz rehearsal where I got to play really hard-hitting lead alto and some solos, and it was amazing. And I've used it since. I've used it for this whole month. I got it in the beginning of this month. I've done 2 recording sessions, a few master classes with it, probably about 7 or 8 gigs on it, including big concerts. And I don't think I'm going to go back. I was using it just now, so you heard how it sounded on this. They really came up with something magical here. I heard from other people, the other D'Addario artists. I didn't get in on the first sample. There apparently was like a Gen 1, and then they interviewed all those people that tried them out, and now this is the Gen 2. I highly recommend it. I'm super blown away.
Isaac Shaw asks, first of all, thank you so much. Is it called a super chat? I don't even know, but I appreciate it. He asks, I'm getting a piece published. How do I spread it? That's a really good question, because I think, that answer is changing so often.
Yeah.
And especially I've been fortunate enough, obviously, to do this and hang out with all you guys, which is incredible. And I think it's illuminated a lot of things for me that I never would have realized about how to get stuff out there. And I mean, for me anyways, just coming from the perspective, and remember, my perspective is skewed, of course, right? Because I do YouTube for a living. So it's it's not necessarily, it's a way that worked for me, but there's more than one ways to do it. And so, but in terms of how do you get something out there? To me, that's just create great content using the thing. So what's an application of that? I don't know. You could. It may be different in application as because you're saying you have a piece published. So what I'm assuming that means is that you're a composer and you've written something and now it's published, which is maybe different than an artist who's created a single or something like that. So to me, it's okay, well, how can that relate to TikTok, for example? How can you create videos using your piece that you've created as a sound to then turn it into a sound that could be used by other people on TikTok? I mean, how many things have we seen go super, super viral in especially the hip hop world and things like that, and the pop world, that are just essentially, they're just songs that people made TikTok sounds that wound up getting used by millions of people. Now, what are the chances of that? It's so hard to say. I mean, TikTok is one of the only places where you have a lot of organic reach still, whereas maybe sometimes it's a little tougher on other platforms, especially Instagram is. I'm not a huge fan of Instagram where it's at right now, but definitely just make stuff using your thing. So if you have a recording, if you have people that have made a recording, put it in stuff and put it out there. And that's the best way to to get it out there. And then if it's a piece that you're looking to have performed by people, groups, if it's choral or if it's orchestral or symphonic band or whatever, find groups that might consider trying it out. You know what I mean? And just start on a super small scale that way. I don't know if you have some input on this.
It depends on what you mean by piece, because that's going to limit your market right there, or at least kind of dictate your market. For example, let's say you wrote a big band arrangement, right? So one of the things you need to do, if you're doing that already and you're getting published through ASCAP or BMI or whatever, is to find the actual houses that sell these music. So sell e-jazz lines. You have what's the one that all the band directors use? It's going to drive me crazy. Not Kendor. Kendor sells things. You want to find basically where band directors and people are buying music. You want to go to those sources and have your piece show up on the marketplace there. But then Charles brought a really good point too of having your music played by a professional organization, or even a school group or something like that, is a way to build your brand with that. With big bands, you can have your local, maybe the school that you went to, play it and you record it and you let other high schools know about it, and it kind of can organically grow that way. That's how people like Mike Tomorrow and Mark Taylor and these people kind of first got their name around.
So Isaac says that it's for brass band.
Band.
So a lot of this stuff applies definitely in that scenario. One thing I've seen a few comments now asking a really
J.W. Pepper, that's the one.
Is that the one you were trying to think of?
J.W. Pepper.
There you go. Okay, so cool.
Yeah.
One of the questions I've seen actually a couple of times now is a really great one, and it's been asked in a couple of different ways, but essentially it's about what's the benefit of going to school or going to any sort of organized educational institution versus just using all the free resources that you might be able to find? And that's a really great question, because the answer is there's tons of really great free resources. And then there's even resources that are sort of in between. So for example, like what we're building with the Academy, where you can get courses that will teach you a ton. And that offers something different a little bit than the free stuff. Usually that comes in the way of like actual applied, applicable steps that you can take. Because sometimes the information is easy to come by, but it's like, what do I do with this? So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're building with the Academy. Side note, Dave's course, brand new course, Harmony 101, 50% off. There's a link in the description, only for a couple more days. And the pre-sale, the full course comes out July 1st, and that price will go away. So take advantage of that while you can. Yeah, no, it's coming up fast. Yeah. But that's going to be a fantastic course. And that's another example of that sort of thing where it's not a free resource, but it's also it's way less expensive than two things. It's less expensive than going to college, obviously, but it's also way less expensive than like getting lessons. So you almost have like all these different steps. So you have your free resources, you have things like courses like what we're building with the Academy, you have in-person instruction, and then you have like a full-blown institution. And they all have their different drawbacks, and they all have their different unique benefits. And I think in terms specifically to answer the question of like, what's the benefit of going to a school? And I'm curious to hear your take on this. But for me, I know a big part of it was simply being in the environment around other students all the time in this sort of built-in collaboration atmosphere and environment. And that really, to me, like, I feel like I made a lot of progress without really trying, because of the fact that it was just sort of, well, you're there in class playing music with your friends all day. And there's sort of, you're just gonna get better because you're gonna learn from others, inherently, and it's just gonna be one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're gonna figure some stuff out. And so, can you derive that atmosphere out of other ways? Well, some people always say, yeah, you can move to the city, pay for private lessons, and just go to jam sessions all the time and get a similar thing. Yeah, I think it takes a little bit more dedication and discipline
to do that,
to get yourself to go out to the jam sessions, to do all that stuff, for sure. It definitely takes a little bit more, and then you keep going down in terms of the involvement of for example, like private one-on-one lessons. You're going to learn a lot, but you're not necessarily getting that environment. And then there's all types of different things, but that's generally why they're all sort of priced accordingly too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm curious your take on this.
So my take on this is, yes, you can take, even $20,000, let's say, and organize yourself a private lesson every week with your favorite instrumentalist. You can put together a combo of a great rhythm section. You can find a great arranger and learn arranging and music theory. The problem with that is, that compared to going to music school is the network of people. So the people that you go to school with, those are going to be the first people that are going to hire you for gigs professionally. People hire who they know. And when, like Charles said, like you build a camaraderie with the people you go to school with. So when it comes time when people start getting opportunities, they're going to look within to the people they know to help them fill out bands, and then you're on a gig with a friend, and you'll get a gig and you'll hire that friend, and it's a whole kind of network that happens there. Another thing is with the faculty. Now, there are faculty involved in the first scenario where you hire like a private teacher and you hire a rhythm section. Those, you can view those as faculty. The difference is that you're paying those faculty members directly, right? So they're really viewing you as like a cash cow kind of thing. They're not really going to respect you on the level of wanting to one day be on the same bandstand as you. Where in music school, they're getting paid by the institution, the faculty members, and most faculty members that I know are always on the look for someone, for young up-and-coming students to help fill out their bands and provide opportunities for. So it's a way to work with these professional musicians that are really established in the scene. So there's a lot of reasons to go to music school. That would be the biggest one, is the network of students that you go to school with. Oh, and speaking of that, you're going to have students that you go to school with that will end up doing totally different things. Maybe you'll be in the jazz program, but they'll take off in the pop world, or they'll take off in hip hop or something. And if you went to school with them, that's a connection that you can keep. And you want to have as many connections as you can. You want to really collect networks and genuine relationships are going to be easier to foster than just finding key people in the scene that you want to network with and emailing them and stuff like that. Like if you went to school with someone, you know about like, you know, struggles of living in the dorms and going to the dining hall together and stuff like that. So it's nothing can replace that.
Real quick, I just want to take a second to shout out a couple of these super chats because Fade, I'm guessing graphic design. I appreciate that, man. I'm sorry for whoever. I appreciate that. Those are super kind words, and that does mean a lot. Matthew, same to you. I very much appreciate your guys' support. Should we? I saw something. We should play.
Sure.
Should we play?
Yeah.
Let's play a little bit. What do you want to play? We could do.
We were talking about like simple mods to arrangements, like to songs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I got a really simple one for you. So, you know, There Will Never Be Another You?
E flat?
E flat.
Yeah.
Okay, so really simple. The end, the turnaround.
Yeah.
Right? 1, 4.
Right, because it's.
Now here, instead of hitting that, go to E major 7 sharp 11.
Woo! Yeah.
And we're gonna sit on that for an extra bar to really like make a moment out of it.
So 2 bars.
2 bars. So all in all, it's gonna be 33 bars. Yep.
Ooh.
Real simple. Super simple.
That's
it's gonna change the
slick.
whole flow of the tune.
Okay. All right. So let's try it. So I don't know. You count it in.
Yep. 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right.
Changes the whole tune.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
changes the whole thing.
that extra bar definitely adds a ton. Wow, that's what a what a disaster trying to like change camera angles.
You
and
are
play at
amazing.
No. Playing at the same
Talk
time.
about extreme improv.
Oh man, the walking bass line is so insane. Thank you. That means a lot because I'm terrible at walking bass line. I could do like the right sections where I'm got a good grasp on it, but I have not studied myself enough.
Yeah, it's a whole craft.
Oh my God.
Walking baseline.
Who? Oscar's bass. What the hell? Oh my God.
Ray Brown.
Ray Brown. Good Lord. Wow. I got to turn in my jazz card after that one. Jeez.
We
Wow.
can't know everything.
Yeah. The extra bar. It sounds cool, doesn't it? That's pretty. It's good. It's a good idea.
And it's so simple. Like there's these
so
little
simple.
things you could do on tunes to
Yeah,
bring new life to them.
We were talking about that earlier because we were playing and we were just sort of like, I just kind of started playing some stuff, and then he started playing, and then I don't know, we just kind of like led into whatever. But that's like one of the most fun ways to create, and you know, and that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm trying to read questions as I'm going here. Let's see. What do we got here? I did see a question earlier that stuck, kind of like stuck in my ear a little bit, and it was because I saw multiple times people asking about sort of the modern direction of jazz / neo soul, and a lot of its incorporations into things like hip hop. Real quick, Drawcab33, thank you so much for the super chat. Will the new harmony course go over reharmonization techniques and ideas? So this is a Harmony 101 course, so we don't dive into harmonization just yet. That's going to be in a future course. So if you're already a little bit advanced, this is kind of, this course, the Harmony 101 course, which is available, link in the description below. It's 50% off for the next couple days while the pre-sale finishes up and the full course releases on July 1st. But what we're going to cover in that course, and Dave does a phenomenal job at breaking down a lot of this stuff, and essentially what it is like, okay, first of all, what is harmony? Because that's an interesting question, right? Because it's the difference between like harmony and theory, you know, and some of like, how do we distinguish, like, what are we actually talking about with harmony? And then beyond that, it's let's take all these different types of triads, and if you had a melody note that was any particular chord tone, whether it's minor, major, whatever, how do you harmonize that? Like the idea of building down in harmony, the idea of creating, you know, all of these different choices that we have with melody notes. That's a lot of what the Harmony 101 course dives into. So if you're already really advanced at harmony, my recommendation might be to wait for the next harmony course that Dave will probably do, because it'll dive a little deeper into some of those things like reharmonization and some of those techniques. So definitely Harmony 101 is really meant for, hey, I play my instrument, I'm figuring out my instrument, but I want to understand it more, and maybe I want to start writing, maybe I want to start composing, maybe I want to start arranging for groups, whatever. This is where you want to start, because it's going to lay out everything for, like, you know, all the stuff I just mentioned and more.
Yeah, the big thing is you'll already be able to start writing for groups with this, because you're going to learn all the skills it takes to harmonize music. And then what he's talking about is reharmonization. That's going to be in the next course, where we reinvent what an existing melody can sound like. So maybe an existing melody was minor, and we reharm it to make it major, or different turnarounds and stuff. So it's just the next level. But this first course will give you a plenty to start already arranging for as few as 2 to 3 people, all the way up to this knowledge translates to all the way to full big band, actually.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And so it's really great for that stuff. I want to get back to the question that, and I've now seen it a couple more times even. People are really into this thing of like talking about, this sort of where jazz has had the modern sort of, movement with jazz and neo soul and its involvement in hip hop and stuff, which first of all, for me personally, I absolutely love it. In fact, Anomaly, you guys mentioned Anomaly a couple times. I have a fun thing to drop for you right here, right now, and that is, if you don't know, we very recently launched a brand new podcast. It's called Odd Time. There should be a link in the description to all the channels for it. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts. There's also a YouTube channel, et cetera, et cetera. But Dave was our first guest a couple of weeks ago, and that episode will come out very, very soon. I think, did it just come out?
I think it came out.
It just came out. So the brand new episode of the podcast, Dave's the guest. And that happened last time he was here, just a couple weeks ago. We just recorded another one today. But our first guest outside of Dave, because Dave's like family, he's like part of the group. But our first guest outside of Dave is Nico, known as Anomaly. That episode we recorded a couple weeks ago. Nico is an awesome dude. I had not met him before, but I've been a massive fan of his music for a long time. And so I found out he was playing in Denver, so I hit him up. I was like, dude, let's do this thing. I'm launching this new podcast. Like, let's do an episode. And he was gracious enough to stop by and do that while he was here for a show. And so we did that episode. It was a blast. It was so much fun. And that's going to be coming out very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Time YouTube channel, because that's where it's going to be. And it'll be also everywhere you get your podcast: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever. But to answer your question in regards to Anomaly specifically, I'm a massive fan, and I just got to meet with him and sit for a couple hours and talk about music on a podcast. So that was a lot of fun. So be looking out for that. So let's see what else we got. Question on the music courses. Are the music courses one? Sorry. Yeah, are the music courses a one-time purchase, or are they a subscription service? So the courses on the Academy right now are all a one-time purchase. You buy it once, you get access to it for life. Yeah. You can go back over it as many times as you want. You never lose access. In the future, I'm trying to figure out how to do it, what the best approach is to make it, affordable and convenient for you guys, because eventually we're gonna have a lot of content on there, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm very excited about. That's one of the reasons Dave is here. It's one of the reasons I'm talking to people, about doing courses. I'm pretty exciting people about hopefully doing courses on the Academy. And so that's one of the things that I'm very much looking forward to, is expanding our catalog. And when we do that, we might introduce some type of subscription thing just to try to make it a little easier for people and not have to buy a bunch of courses all at once. And we'll figure that out as we go. But currently, everything on the Academy is a one-time purchase. You get access to it for life. You can go over it as many times as you want, revisit all of the material, revisit all of the lessons. And so, it makes it a really useful resource, because we forget. In fact, to the extent, I don't know if I ever told you this, but so from the time I was about 13 till the time I went to college, I studied with a phenomenal jazz pianist. She was not as well known. Her name was Lee Shaw, and she passed now, almost 7 years ago, I think. But I studied with her for 5 years before I went to Purchase, and it was always so funny because she would have me bring cassette tapes, 90-minute cassette tapes, because she recorded every single lesson. And I still have a box of cassette tapes that I have no idea how to play, because I don't own anything that can play cassettes, but I have recordings of those lessons.
Oh, I'll bring mine next time.
Yeah. And but because her philosophy was, we're going to talk about this stuff and you're going to forget it, so you better be able to go back and look at it. And I think that's just a phenomenal approach. So that is what I did, and that's what you get with any of the courses on the Academy, including Dave's Harmony 101 course. Sorry for those of you who've been here. We're going to say it a couple times, but 50% off. It's a pre-sale. The full course comes out on July 1st. There's only a couple days left to get that price. And it's a great course. Dave did a phenomenal job, and he's going to keep building cool stuff for the Academy. So let's continue. Let's see, your thoughts on Tigran Hamasyan. Here is a fun fact about Tigran. I became literally obsessed with Tigran for a period of, it must have been 2 years, and I don't think I listened to literally any music besides Tigran. It was, oh, how does that one go? Oh, yikes. Almost. Yeah, no, I love it. Tigran, I was, man, what a connection for me, because that style of jazz, which is so based in so many influences from metal, and especially like prog metal, which is some of my favorite stuff. Some of you guys know, one of my favorite people in the world is Misha Mansour, who started Periphery, the band Periphery, and I love that dude to death. And weirdly, our entire relationship is predicated on cars, but whatever. But prog metal, I love it so much. So Tigran for me scratched that kind of brain itch of this is exactly what my ear wants to hear. And so I listened to it nonstop for about probably 2 years, I think. Yeah, it was a long time. I don't know. Have you ever checked out his stuff very much?
You got me checking him out. So I used to ski and listen to that stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. We have a super chat here. I don't want to miss it.
He was talking about...
I hate to be a broken record. First of all, thank you. But any chance you'll do any videos on Dirty Loops in the future? That's a good question. Dirty Loops is cool as shit. What? There was another one?
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, that one right there.
Oh, one question I have is, what do you think from Truton? What do you think the reason is that improv is mostly centered in jazz? I really enjoy improv, but in more genres than just jazz. Dude, 100%. And here's the thing. My thoughts on that, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too, but it's fascinating, right? Because we think of improvisation, we often think of jazz, right? But to me, I feel like jazz is the teaching tool that gives you the fluency and the language of improvisation, which should then be applied to literally anything, right? And so there are so many genres. So I think the way you phrased it was that jazz, it was phrased, improv is centered in jazz.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's necessarily true. Many of the ideas, obviously jazz is very centered in improv, so the other way for sure. But in terms of, improv has been used in so many different, in fact, if you go back into a lot of like classical works, I mean, there's always conversations about things that may have been improvisation.
Yeah.
That were just, done over and over again. And they started as improvisation. And, I think jazz gives you the tools. I think jazz sets you up with a great basis to work from and gives you a good understanding of the language. But certainly, it can apply to anything. And that's what I love, to go back, sort of backtrack a little bit to the question about the sort of modern jazz movement with neo-soul and hip-hop. That's what I love so much about what's happening. We talked about Kendrick's new album on the channel, Kendrick Lamar's new album, and I think that is, now improv, not necessarily improv, but it's the influence of jazz, which we have seen throughout. The most recent video on the main channel is about hip-hop, about piano and hip-hop. And if you watch that video, so much of it are samples from jazz records. Because these producers throughout, the sort of evolution of hip hop until now are influenced by jazz in so many ways. And you see so many awesome influences and so many like samples being used that I think is phenomenal. And then of course we have people like Robert Glasper, which are totally blending the two genres together. I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. What's your take on all that?
So getting back to improvisation outside of jazz, I think it definitely exists in other genres. It's not maybe studied as much because jazz curriculums tend to focus on your soloing over different types of tunes, different types of chord progressions, different meters, over different composers and eras of the music. So that's a big part of a jazz curriculum where even though you improvise in Baroque music, for example, I don't think that's really where the bulk of the time is spent in a classical program. And same with in songwriter, singer-songwriter music and rock and pop. There's improvisation that happens there, but the bulk is more compositional, or it has to do with hooks and stuff like that, lyrics. So the focus isn't on improvisation, but they all exist in all of those genres.
Hey, somebody just said Emmett Cohen is streaming in 45 minutes. Definitely go check that out.
I'm
for
a big,
sure.
Big fan of Emmett's
go watch
channel.
Emmett's stream, and tell him we sent you because
There you go.
yeah, I don't think Emmett knows who I am, but I know who he is because he is phenomenal. So I saw an interesting question about what was it? The Tigran thing I played, and somebody said, "What time signature is that?" And somebody answered 4/4. And this is really cool because that is 100% correct.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So check this out. This is what's wild about this. So what I played was. Right? And then if you even hear the drums come in, it's just like, and it doesn't sound like 4 at all, right? But it is. It's this convoluted breakup of yeah. And so if you actually break it down, so I don't know if you can give me a 4/4, like give me just like a So. Count it.
Yeah. So 1, 2.
Check
3,
this out.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dig that. It's 4/4. Like that's literally all it is. But it's just it's broken up in this crazy way that it's just
I love
like
when people hide simple things.
And that's one of the things I loved about Tigran so much is like this ability to completely hide normal meter with this breakup to the point where you could literally say it as something completely you'd be like, no, that's not 4/4. That's this and then this and that. And it's like, yeah, okay. If if you want to talk about that phrasing, sure, that's technically correct. But the fact that it breaks up into 4/4 and can spit itself out on the 1, like that to me is just so brilliant. And that's some of the stuff I love about what that is. Let's see. Ooh, we have some chord suggestions with the backdoor 2/5. I love this modern version of it using a 4 minor 11 then a flat
saw a
7
good
major
comment, too.
13
Yeah.
sharp 11. It's gonna
Yeah, it's
bye.
nice.
Sorry. Do you know Polyphia by any chance? I do know Polyphia, and well, I mean not personally, but the music. Tim. Oh, good lord, what's his last name? Tim. Shoot. Sorry, but great. Polyphia is fantastic.
Scroll up a bit on the comments.
Scroll up. Scrolling
right
up.
there. Does Dave also play piano and any more chord-based instruments?
This is interesting because you do. Dave does play piano, and you kind of, especially when you go to school for it, it's sort of built in, right?
Yeah, it's built in. Yeah, so when you, at Purchase, for example, the first 2 years, you take 4 semesters of piano class. So if you're a pianist, you get passed out of that, obviously, but if you're a non-pianist, that's where you learn fingerings and scales and chords, and you'll play songs and all of that. But the piano's the mother instrument, so that's how we have conversations about music and arranging and chords and progressions, and so it's so important to learn the piano. So I basically took those 4 semesters of piano, and then I kept working on it to the point where when I came back to teach at Purchase, because I started teaching at Purchase in I think I was 26 years old, something like that. And the students were impressed at how well I played the piano. And I'm not going to do gigs on piano, but I can get by on the piano. And they asked me what I'd worked on. I said, "Did you take piano class with this person?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I did too. I just kept working on that stuff." Where a lot of people, they took those 4 semesters and then they just stopped working on it. They passed out of it and then they moved on to other things. But I kept working on it because I knew it was really important. So I would do things like whatever he taught me in my right hand, I would try to put in my left hand and work on rootless voicings. And so I highly suggest spending a lot of time on the piano. And what's cool now is there's so many things that you can get. I know Charles has a piano course, and there's going to be...
Oh, we do, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, the Intro to Piano course. That's a great start. And then on YouTube, all over the place, there's such great content on how to play the piano and jazz voicings and stuff like that. So, yes. And getting back to the saxophone and the piano, I was taught that the saxophone is a piano that could play one note at a time. So I try to build voicings.
Boom. Wow. Yeah.
So the goal is you don't want to need the rhythm section, right? So on that tune we just played, There Will Never Be Another You, I'm thinking of voicings. So right, so that is basically a major 7 6/9 voicing. The next chord. So that's dominant sharp 9, right? I'm voicing it all by myself, so I can play the tune by myself. So let's do this. Let's play the first half of the tune.
Yeah.
And then drop out.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right, so you hear the whole tune, even though I don't have the rhythm section. And that is such an important skill because when you do have a good rhythm section, you feel free. But if you don't, you can still make music, right? You on your own are the one making the music. And then you can play by yourself. And the sooner you can lose that dependence on, like, oh, I only play great with a great pianist, then are you really playing great? Or is the pianist holding your hand? Stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. And I think that is such a fascinating approach to single line instruments where it's like, because one of the reasons why piano is just so insanely valuable to learn, and we do have the Intro to Piano course, many of you have taken it, so first of all, thank you. And second of all, if you are looking to get into piano, that is like the greatest place to start because it's the Intro to Piano course is designed to take you from not ever having played this instrument before to having a tool set that you can work with to continue learning some of the stuff that you want to play. But one of the reasons why piano is so important, no matter what instrument you play, and it's the reason that every music education program will make you take piano. Like, absolutely, it doesn't matter if you're studying classical jazz, doesn't matter, you're gonna have to take piano in music school. And the reason is because it is I look at it as the visualization, the linear visualization of music, right?
Yeah.
And it's the only linear visualization of music, because even a guitar, which is also like a chord instrument, the way the strings and the frets go, it's not as clearly laid out as like, look, this is the bottom, and that's the top, and like everything is in a line.
Yeah.
Not everything goes in order. There's no other way to voice anything. And so this instrument, understanding this instrument, is the key to unlocking literally everything. Whether you want to compose, whether you want to improvise, whether you want to learn other instruments. Like, most people don't know this, but I play, not well, so when I say play, it's in quotes, but I play trumpet, I play some alto, I play a little bit of alto, I've played, low brass stuff, and but like all of that, when I was learning those instruments, most of the stuff I learned like when I was in high school, and the process for learning that stuff literally just came from, in my head, I'm just picturing the piano, and I'm going, oh, I need to go from here to here to here to here to here.
Yep.
So really all I had to do was train my embouchure to do the thing it needed to do, and train my fingers to know how to make the different notes on whatever instrument that I was playing. But it made learning all these other instruments super easy, because it's just like, oh, well, I already know the piano, so I can just kind of piece this together and figure out the technique for playing this instrument, and it's built in. I don't have to learn anything about scales or melodic patterns or anything like that, because I've already done that on the piano.
Yep.
It makes everything so much easier. So definitely, like, if you want to learn, check out the Intro to Piano course on the Cornell Music Academy, because it's like a great place to start. And but I say that because that's our thing that we built, and we're super excited about it. But there are resources everywhere, right? So dive into it, because the piano, understanding how to play the piano, will just unlock so much stuff for you, and it's so valuable. Taking a look at a couple other things. Blah 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 blah.
A lot of brands of keyboards.
Brands of keyboard. I get this question so much.
I like Privias. What do you think? Like Casio Privias?
Do you actually?
I think I think for the touch, like the weight of it, and it's got a solid piano sound, I think. As far as like affordable, yeah, the Casio Privia, the PX160 is pretty good. Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I have not really played much previous stuff, but the stuff I have played, I wasn't very impressed with. This is a Kawai.
Oh, these are great.
Oh my God, this is a Kawai MP7 SE. I am sponsored by Kawai. Like, they gave me this, and I also have a grand piano at home that they hooked me up with. And but I chose Kawai. Yeah,
Kawai's are great.
I sought Kawai out, and the reason for that is because I love the tone quality out of their instruments, and in particular, like, the feel of this keybed is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not that educated on their like full line of keyboards, so it might be something that's like not exactly beginner friendly, price point wise.
Yeah.
You can find lots of like lower priced. I think Yamaha's got a bunch of stuff that's super cheap. I mean, Yamaha makes a great product as well. Yeah, but for me, I mean, my favorite pianos that I've ever played, both digital and acoustic, have always been Kawai and Yamaha. But yeah, so
a lot of people swear by Roland pianos.
Roland's an interesting one, because Roland made, in many ways, kind of the gold standard, especially for like they were the first ones to do that sort of digital grand thing.
Yeah.
And they made a great instrument, and yeah.
I've never. Nords are too expensive.
Nords are way too expensive.
Well, not too expensive, but just for a beginner, they're out of your range.
Yeah. Somebody said MIDI keyboard and Keyscape. So
yeah.
So you're hearing Keyscape. I love the Keyscape is probably my favorite VST plugin for a DAW that I've like ever had. It is absolutely phenomenal. Now, you said also MIDI keyboard. Cool, yes. However, if you're trying to play the piano, like if your goal is to be, a pianist, you're going to be concerned about feel, and this Kawai is just so incredible with the feel of this. Wow, that was as I play the messiest scale you could possibly play, but like the feel of this keybed is just astounding, and so that's super important when you're dealing with like you're trying to learn, or you're trying to like perform, or you're trying to record or whatever. So MIDI keyboard plus Keyscape, yes, but make sure that MIDI keyboard is serving the purposes that you need it to serve, which could be much more in depth than somebody who's just trying to put a couple notes into a DAW. So
I saw a comment about how to play by yourself. Someone was asking about like what I mentioned about playing by yourself, how to do that, how to get started with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I have some tips on that. So we'll just keep kind of drilling that tune home a little bit since we've been playing it. It's in your ear. Start with simple triads, right? So there will never be another you. Right, and then you get into like ninth chords and stuff. You can get into maybe playing certain licks on certain parts of the tune, so that you're improvising on some sections that are a little easier, and then on the 2/5 you play kind of the same exact thing. So like if I was going to do that. Right, so you can kind of do that by yourself, and you're hearing the tune already, I'm sure. So the more
By
you
the
do
way,
that, yeah.
by the way, not to interrupt, but this is a really great teaser for the next course that
Yeah.
Dave just filmed,
Yeah.
and it's going to come out. I think it'll probably come out. It'll probably go on pre-sale maybe in August.
Yeah.
Because we just filmed it, and we got to now piece it together and build the whole thing. So, but look for that, because the stuff he's talking about right now of like improvisational tools, and it's gonna be fantastic. Anyway, sorry not to interrupt.
Yeah, but basically forcing yourself to do to play through the tune by yourself, it exposes if you know it. Because a lot of times when you play with a rhythm section, especially a good rhythm section, their job is to make you sound good. So even if you land on questionable notes, their job is to voice it in a pretty way. So that might give you the belief that you're sounding better than you actually sound, right? And that's the problem with playing with just play-alongs alone, is that there's no feedback there. You're not seeing the rhythm section if they're enjoying your solo or not. So I think recording yourself is really important, so you can listen back to how you're sounding, and if you're actually if you lose track of the tune by yourself, and then yeah, just organizing your thoughts. We do spend a lot of time talking about that in that new course that I came up with. But hopefully that's a good start. So start with triads and then chords and licks.
Real quick, we will play another tune. I don't know. Let's get a bunch of recommendations or requests in the comments. I feel like I'm at a gig,
Yeah,
like at a restaurant gig. But
oh.
no, throw your requests.
Well, I
in.
thought you were gonna say like we're gonna get the craziest tunes ever. Let's see.
We probably will. Yeah. Why are modes so hard to learn? So, I have a whole course.
Yeah.
I have a whole course on this. There's making sense of modes. It's available on the Cornell Music Academy, and that dives into exactly this promise. Oh, well, here we go. Here's all the ones. Lingus. Somebody requested Lingus. What are you guys nuts?
A few people.
We're just gonna play that. No, I love that. Lingus is one of my favorite Snarky Puppy tunes. Anyways, oh God, I'm sorry that we asked for this.
There's a million autumn
There's
leaves.
so many. Oh, autumn. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, what was I just saying?
You were saying we were talking about.
I was just about to go into modes.
the
Modes. Yeah.
modes.
So modes. Basically, I'll give you sort of just the brief rundown. In the course we dive into this like a lot. Check out CornellMusicAcademy.com. And there's a link somewhere down there to access the modes course. Because the CornellMusicAcademy.com homepage is for the Intro to Piano course. But if you go down on that page, it has links to our improv course and our modes course. So essentially what we cover in the modes course is a couple different ways to think about modes, because really they can be kind of confusing. And this comes specifically from my own experience in how modes were originally taught to me. And that was that my piano teacher I mentioned, Lee Shaw, she was like, yeah, you have Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, right?
Yeah, I never liked that.
Well, so this is the thing, right? Because I was confused, and I'm like, okay, so wait, C from D to D is Dorian? Like, okay. And what she was trying to say is like, yeah, the second mode of the major scale is Dorian, the third mode of the major scale is Phrygian, the fourth, et cetera, et cetera. When it clicked for me was when I learned how to think about it in two ways. I thought about it both as that, which is, oh, it's a mode of the major scale. So essentially, it's the major scale starting from one of the degrees of that scale. So like C obviously contains C, D, E, F, G, et cetera, et cetera. If we start the same set of notes from E, what does that sound like? And that sounds like this. It happens to be Phrygian, right? And younger me was like, okay, well, Phrygian is the third mode of the major scale, so Phrygian is in the C major scale from E to E, and like that's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
When it really clicked and made sense was when I thought of it as a formula, right? So you can do that same thing that I did here when I went Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, etc., etc. You do it all from one note. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. What did I just do? I just applied each mode's formula to the same note to create it.
Same point, yeah.
That to me, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Because now I understand that Dorian is not just C major from D to D. Kind of confusing. No, Dorian is a major scale with the 3rd and the 7th made flat. Flat 3, flat 7. And so Dorian has a formula. Every mode has a formula, right? And so when you start to think about it in those terms rather than in the mode of the major scale, it can kind of open up this understanding about it. One of the things we talk about in the modes course is not only how to understand that and what all the formulas are, but how to use them. You know, chord situations that you might find yourself in where they're particularly useful. So like, yeah,
Can
that's...
I try something with that?
Yes,
actually?
let's do it.
So let's do C, the world of C.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm gonna play, and you have to figure out what mode I'm trying to play.
Oh God, this is gonna, oh great, okay, here we go. It's getting schooled by my professor, guys. Let's go, let's do it.
So give me some C's all over the place. I'll start easy for you.
Okay. Phrygian. And I was waiting to hear the 5 because that's the determining factor between Phrygian and Locrian. Okay? Here we go.
Next one.
Aeolian.
Right. So you can't move until you know that.
Until I know. So in that case I was listening to see because I heard the, so I knew it was minor, and then I heard, and I was waiting for whether it was going to be an A natural, which would make it Dorian, or an A flat, which made it Aeolian, and he played an A flat. So I was waiting to hear that. Let's go. Lydian.
Right, you gotta wait until right, isn't that fun?
What a great, oh, Lydian is so good.
I like Lydian because it teaches you that the root, to not depend on the root.
True.
Because the root sounds pretty bad in Lydian. Play Lydian again. Yeah, like play like C and then play nice voicing like you were doing before.
Ah, yeah, that's
Sounds awful.
That's funny.
Because it really brings to life this upper structure. It's clashing with the major 7.
Yeah.
So it's important. It gets you thinking upper structure.
It does. That's really, yeah, that's interesting. And it's the same reason why, like, in a major scale, like, the 4th just doesn't really sound very good, you know? Cool. Okay, let's see. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of, maybe it was a bad idea to ask for requests because I kind of missed them all. You said you saw
There's a million autumn leaves. If
autumn
you wanna do
leaves.
that.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. What key?
It's in E flat. Let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I forgot to change your camera angle. Well, no, it was on me the whole time.
Nice, that's right.
All right. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, good lord. Yeah. Maybe I should get Jake to run the.
You got a new thing to practice now.
Man, I gotta play. I gotta play video switcher and piano. Yikes! Great, killer. Yeah, that was fun. That was super fun. Thanks for that. Thanks for that recommendation. So, anyways, thoughts on Jesus Molina, dude?
Yeah.
Is on another level. I mean, yikes. Just unbelievable. Really, really crazy. Oh my God, the chat's running 1,000 miles an hour. I can't read anything. Yeah. Jesus Molina is like just unbelievable. I'm such a huge fan. Yeah, so, here's a fun scale for you. C, so I'm going to try to catch it. C, D, F sharp, G, A5.
Oh, yeah. Almost.
Is that it?
That's it.
What is that? What would that be? I mean,
That's like the blues scale, the Phrygian blues scale.
Phrygian blues. Phrygian blues scale. Waltz for Debbie. I love that tune so much.
The augmented scale.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, Joyce. Oh, Joyce brings such a good tune. Do you know that?
No, not off the top of my head. Yeah. You know what? Yes, I do. I think I can do Nope, don't know it.
Oh! forget to switch the thing again? Shoot. Sorry, guys.
okay.
I keep wanting to like change the.
No, you can't on that tune. Oh my gosh, you can't do that.
Can you imagine trying to trade fours like playing video switcher and piano at the
Man,
same
I
time?
haven't played that tune forever.
That's a great tune. Especially if you include all the original. You know, all.
All those Clifford tunes were so ahead
So
of their
good,
time.
man. Yeah, 27. That's just so wild.
Yeah.
Like I'm 29, and it's just like 27.
Yeah. You want to hear a crazy Clifford story?
Jeez. By the way, we're talking about Clifford Brown, who was killed at the age of 27.
In a car accident.
Yeah.
Not his first car accident.
Really?
His first car accident was when he was a teenager, and he actually, I think he broke some limbs, but he definitely hurt his arm to the point where he couldn't play trumpet. So he played piano, and he actually joined an R&B band, and he got discovered because they were playing a gig up in Syracuse. And it was like the end of this tour. Syracuse was at the end of this tour, and he just started to get a little better on his arm where he could play some trumpet. So part of the like shtick of the show was he played piano all night, and then for the last song he'd play one song on the trumpet.
Wow.
So he plays, his one song on the trumpet, and who was in the audience? Lou Donaldson.
Really?
And Lou Donaldson was like, "Who are you? What's your story?" And Clifford told him, and he's like, "When you come to New York, you let me know, and we're gonna make a record together." So Clifford, the following year, moved to New York, and he made his first record with Lou Donaldson, and that started his whole thing.
That's crazy. Yeah, man. It's so many of those guys that were just, people that we consider to be legends today were just lost so early. It's just, it's crazy.
Yep. Fats Navarro and
Lee Morgan, that whole thing. He was another one. How old was he? I forget.
He was like 35, I think.
35, yeah, but still, that's just insane. Anyways, guys, we've been at this for almost an hour and a half. We have to wrap this up at some point. But this has been a blast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. And I would very much like to do this more if that's something that you guys would be interested in. We've had a lot of fun. I'm just going to remind you one more time, there's a couple days left for the pre-sale of Dave's brand new Harmony 101 course. It's 50% off until July 1st. So there's a link in the description here on this video. Please, if you get a chance, go check it out. That course is going to be fantastic. And Dave does a phenomenal job at teaching you guys some of the really essential basics of harmony. And all of our other courses are, of course, as always, they're available at CornellMusicAcademy.com. Dave's course is CornellMusicAcademy.com/harmony. And there's links everywhere, all over the place. Also, Dave was just on an episode of Odd Time, the brand new podcast that we've just launched. You can find us everywhere that you get your podcasts, including a YouTube channel that we've just launched. There's a link in the description below. And if you guys would mind, subscribe to that channel, it'll help us get the thing off the ground. That would be super appreciated. So, yeah, Dave's on an episode of Odd Time. We have a great time. So more of that coming, more of this coming, more of Dave coming, and more courses coming. So be sure to use that link in the description. Get 50% off while you still can, just for the next couple days. The Harmony 101 course taught by David DeJesus, Director of Jazz Studies at Purchase College. We should talk about Purchase College at some point, too, because, it's great. It's great. And if you guys are thinking about music school, especially jazz school, definitely, you got to talk to Dave. Anyways, that's going to do it.
They can find me really easily.
Yeah.
David.thejesus@purchase.edu. Really easy.
That's your email.
That's my purchase
But
email.
you have David DeJesus Music on Instagram.
Yep. And on YouTube.
And on YouTube. So be sure, check out Dave. Get in touch with Dave. He's a fantastic resource, and he's super open and willing to help people who are interested in, bettering their music career in general, but especially, going to Purchase and things like that. So he can answer a ton of questions. So we'll have Dave back. We'll do this again. We had a really great time. Thank you so much. And should we play one out here? Should we do?
I got one for you.
What do you got? Wait. What even is that?
That's the theme.
I've never played that. Yeah. Right. Let's play. What do you think about
Confirmation, or what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
If I Rebel?
Oh. Yep.
That's great. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to Dave for being here. And we will see you next time. Bye.